Hi, Mako. Okay, so I've taken the dough out of the bag. I have it on the granite, and you can show the dough now. And I am flattening it out. I keep flour on my hands, but I am flattening it out. You know, I don't really care what it looks like on the granite, but I do flatten it out. You know, you don't want to make it elongated any particular way. And you said that you couldn't see the bubbles. Well, there's a bubble, there's an air bubble there, you know, so you just want to make sure you're getting the air bubbles out. But I just kind of flatten it on the granite as much as I can. And then when I've pretty much got it flat, you know, where it's all easily pushed down. I mean, it's not even at all. I mean, you can see that there's bunches here and there's, you know, it's not even at all. So now, here is the wood, okay? I already put the parchment on the wood. I've kind of tucked it under. So I've got the parchment on the wood. I've tucked it under both sides. And basically, I just want the dough to completely cover the wood. So that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm just gonna pick up the dough. It looks weird. I'm just gonna throw the dough on there and I'm gonna pull it. You know, I'm just gonna pull it, and I'll show you where where the curve of the wood is going down. I basically stop right where the curve of the wood is going down. But since I am going to crimp it, I kind of am pretty loose about how far I pull it. But I just pull it from the edges because you'll see that's where they're thickest, you know? So I'm just kind of pulling from the edges. There's no particular size or shape that I'm going for here. I'm just pulling to kind of get it stretched out. Really, that's my goal. Now, I make sure I have, you know, some flour on my hands and I push. And I can feel that there are some areas that have bubbles. You don't want the bubbles, so, you know, just poke the bubbles. Make sure you get those bubbles out of there. But I just am pushing it, and I can kind of feel where it's a little thicker, you know? So you just kind of feel where it's a little thicker. You see it's further over. Here's the thing. So I'm kind of putting it over, which is not really a great thing. There's a hole there. I gotta patch that hole up, which is easy. You just kind of crunch it together. But it's very forgiving. It's very forgiving. So I am going to push it over the edge as kind of as much as I can. So here is the edge of this one. So I still have space there. So I'm gonna pull it a little more and pull it a little more. And this has too much going on there. So I'm kind of gonna pull it a little more. It is more oblong, I guess. But I just want to get it so that when I crimp it, it's going to end up being the size of the pizza stone. So that's kind of what I do. So, you know, I'm kind of, this one is sort of an odd shape, but for the most part, it's, you know, it's going to be a circle. I kind of push it so that I'm kind of making it sort of a circle. So there's the stone, there's the wood, okay? And then there's the wood. So I push it kind of to the end of the wood, you know, so it's pretty much covering the entire top of the wood except for the slant part, you know? I don't know if you can see that, but there's the slant part. So I kind of go over it a little bit because we gotta crimp it, right? So there's air bubble, there's air bubble. No big deal, but you kind of want to get those out. If you don't see them, then you don't have them. Okay? So that's where we are now. I'm still pulling a little bit so that I can pull it back and crimp it, okay? So, you know, I mean, I don't know how else to show you, but the goal is to get it, when it's crimped, to the size of the pizza stone. All right, so now I'm just gonna start crimping. And even after you crimp, you can always stretch it out more if you go, oh geez, it's way too small, or it's a weird size, or a weird shape. Just start over. I mean, just pull it a little more, and see, this is kind of getting where it's shrinking. I don't want it to shrink, so I'm gonna pull it a little more and crimp it. And when it's all said and done, I gotta keep getting flour on my hands because it's, there's parts that are kind of sticky still, and I don't want it to be sticky. So if you end up with oblong, who cares? But it's got to fit on the pizza stone. That's the huge thing. So that's kind of why I don't really care. This kind of hung over there a little bit. That's okay. I'm just kind of pushing it back. Some spots will be thicker than others, but I don't care. I like thick dough, so one piece might have a little thicker dough. So this one's a little odd shaped, so I'm gonna push it a little more out, so that it is more of a round. I'm just gonna kind of make it so it's a little more round, So that's probably the size of my pizza stone. I have to redo this. I'm gonna recrimp that. But, basically it's the size of the top before you get to the slant of the wood. So, as long as you kind of have an idea of how big is the pizza stone, because you don't want it to fall off the edge of the pizza stone. Okay, so this actually looks almost a little more oblong. I don't care. As long as I know that it's gonna fit. Here's the board. It's gonna fit just fine on the pizza stone. I'm good. Okay? So I think that was what you needed to know. This is thicker. I don't care. Okay, some of it's, a little more rumpled. But, so that's kind of the size I'm ending up with. And it's almost more oblong. So, okay? I love you. Bye.